Hello, everybody. My name is Moonmonk. I am the community manager for Studio Dread LLC. Last week, or a little while ago, we uploaded a video that was the first part of this series where we wanted to introduce you to us as well as the studio as a whole. And I wasn't able to put all of what we had discussed in that particular moment in that one video because it was just a little bit too long for me to justify it. So this is the second part. This is the end. And it is mostly going over what we're proudest of in our time working on things like this. So I hope you enjoy, and I'm just going to let it roll in and get going. Yeah. So I guess I have one more question for I think everyone. I think this is another one that we can all answer. And I'll start off with you, Keirdan. What is... I'm going to phrase this in a different way for... It might not be in a different way, but what is the thing that you have made that you are the proudest of?
I have different reasons that I'm proud of different things that I've made. Like the absolute cop-out answer would be Studio Dread LLC. I'm not.
Well, I mean, if you could choose, if you could only have one game that you could have people play, because I'm keeping this centralized to like Studio Dread or our accomplishments in this field ish. What would be that introduction? What would be the thing that you would look at people and go, if you want to know what Studio Dread is about, this is what I want you to do. If you want to know what I, Keirdan Jenson, am about, this is what I would want you to experience to see what I can do. I can hear the loading bar.
It's actually a really difficult question because I feel like everything I've released has shown some of what I can do, some of what I'm good at. I'm tempted, honestly, to say Halcyon, but that wasn't really my game. I programmed it, but I wasn't the one who came up with the concept. I wasn't the one who came up with the art or even most of the mechanics. I haven't made a game outside of like a game jam that I think, since I've really been good at it, there's a few projects I'm really proud of that never took off, that never actually reached release, unfortunately, that I think had they been finished would be my answer, or possible answers. I can't say Beasts of Burden because, again, the concept was really good, but it does not reflect what I'm actually capable of as an artist. It reflects my determination to do it anyway, because I had given up a lot of times before that point. And while that is something that I think represents me and is very important, it doesn't really encompass my goals as a creator. I think, the corner of your eye shows a lot of what I want to represent. It's about mental health awareness. It's about audio being the primary form of storytelling. But those all free assets from the Unity store. It doesn't really have the level of creativity that, again, it was part of a game jam. If I had had months to work on it, it would have been something different. I think The Nightmare Never Ends was a really, really big accomplishment for me because it was the first time I made a 3D game where I did all of the models. It was also for a game jam, but it didn't represent anything with a lot of deeper meaning to me. Getting into something a little bit personal, but my cat, who I'd had for 16 years, passed away towards the beginning of that jam, and I chose to finish it despite that. it was a way to kind of process my grief, because I find that creating, especially in the horror genre, is one of the only ways that I can express my emotions in a weird way. And I think it's a very powerful medium for communicating intense emotions, especially when it comes to mental health, because having severe mental health problems is scary. And when you put someone who doesn't have those issues into a horror game environment and you build it in the right way, I feel it is a powerful way to allow them to experience the type of fear that people with those issues experience on a daily basis. I think it can be a very powerful medium for that. But again, I would have to take elements, the story and the concept of Beasts of Burden, the auditory storytelling and very in-your-face mental health focus of The Corner of Your Eye, the level of technical creativity and ability that went into The Nightmare Never Ends, I'm very proud of, but I can't pick one of those games that really shows everything I want to show the world, because they all kind of have a piece, and I feel like it's only now that I've been doing this for a couple years and I've honed all of these skills that I am hoping my next game will contain all of that. So I guess if I had to answer that question, it's not something I've released yet. It's probably going to be the update of Beasts of Burden, or when Grey Matters finally comes out, that's probably going to overtake it in my mind. That's going to be kind of my magnum opus, or I don't even want to say that, because I hope I will continue to improve, and each new thing that I create will become the new thing that I want people most to see and that I'm the most proud of. But in terms of choosing one that's already come out, I feel like that's a disservice to what I'm actually trying to communicate to people, because all of this has really just been me learning, and there isn't something that really represents that yet.
I probably should have figured that asking an artist to pick a favorite piece of art would have gotten a response.
You're going to have to cut that down so much. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm
this has gone so long.
No, this is fine. A longer form community management video is perfectly fine. Yeah. Taylor, do you have anything that you'd say you're particularly proud of, or are we waiting to see what you will do?
I mean, everything that I have been working on has been, physical. It's not really online.
Taylor does a lot of knitting and crocheting and cross-stitching, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, so I'm more of a hands-on person, but I have, like, my first idea of, like, my own personal programming project. I told you about it.
Yeah.
To, like, kind of, like, I guess, kickstart the portfolio, but I need to get past, like, learning CSS and all that stuff and get to, like, JavaScript and all that kind of crap to really learn it. I would eventually like to, possibly even go to, like, actual schooling for programming. But, yeah, no, like, I have an idea of what I would like, and I really hope that it turns out really well. But, other than that, I don't really have even, like, I personally don't have any physical pieces of my artwork anymore, sadly, because we had to throw away all my artwork from college and high school because
water damage.
Yeah, they got molded and destroyed and shit like that. But I think probably my favorite piece of art I ever did was that big old off painting I had to do. That was probably my favorite thing I ever did.
Well, I'll say, before I go into mine, I will say, Keirdan, I think where you're concerned, my favorite thing that you've done, and it's not for... If I were to go off of what you've done because of what it is, my answer would be different. But because what you've done that you did, I think The Nightmare Never Ends or The Corner of Your Eye... The Corner of Your Eye got me. But I think my favorite thing that you've done, honestly, is Beasts of Burden. And it's not necessarily because of the product that it is. It's because it was an ARG that I was able to get involved in, and on top of that, that game kickstarted our friendship. So, like, that Beasts of Burden, I know you trash on it a lot, but it holds a very special place in my heart. And I know other people trash on it too, and I get really defensive about it. And I'm like, it's a good game, guys. I liked it.
I don't. That's what's funny. I agree with people. But no, and you're bringing up an important point, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take over
No,
or
you're
go
good.
on a
You're good.
tangent or anything. But I do just want to throw out there's a very big difference between what Beasts of Burden represents to me and what
What
it
it
is in a general sense. It holds a very special place in my heart because I genuinely would not be making games if I hadn't beat my head against a wall until something that was semi-playable shot out and sprayed over the canvas. Like, since I was 17, I had been trying to make games and failing. And I had had so many ideas, and what it came down to is my brain doesn't do the whole learning new skills that I'm not inherently good at thing very well. But what it does do is the whole half-assing it and throwing everything at the wall until something sticks. And then what came out of that was almost despite my best efforts not to learn anything, I ended up learning enough that I was able to get into code past that point. So
Yeah.
It holds a very special place in my heart because Studio Dread would not have been started. I would not have done any of the things that I've done if I hadn't tried to make that game. And I wouldn't have had the opportunities, the MatPat shout out, it didn't have an insane impact, but it had enough of one. We wouldn't have met if not for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all of that, and that's why I always say, like, there's such this luck element, but you have to just do everything you can think of, because the most unlikely thing can end up being what actually puts you on the path you want to be on. And if I hadn't just, in this very half-assed, terrible way, tried to make this game, I wouldn't have had any of the opportunities that I have now. So it holds a very special place in my heart. The product that was released is not good. That doesn't change everything it did.
Yeah. And then Taylor, like, my answer for that is really easy because Taylor made me, before we even like really started being together, a out of sticks, like twigs. Taylor made me
sticks. They were rose
stems.
Yeah.
Out of rose stems. Then sorry.
Which...
Taylor made me a star, and that has always been very special to me. For me personally, I think, again, I understand where you're coming from, Keirdan, on that's a hard question to answer. I have 3 that I'm really proud of, and unfortunately 2 of them have not been released yet, so I don't know how much I can talk about them. But those 2 were both because of the mutual appreciation station going on here. But 2 of those were, I only got those opportunities because of Keirdan, because one of them was voicing stuff for the Beasts of Burden ARG. And I'm very happy with the work that I did and the product, and it came out pretty close to exactly how I would have liked it to have been, and Keirdan said that he liked it too, so that works out. And then the other one was that I worked with Northwood, kind of indirectly via proxy of Keirdan, to work on something for the Halloween update. So hopefully when that comes out, I can stream it and we'll all have a good time. But I think out of the things that have released and the things that I've been able to see the result of, and this is going to be really stupid, there was apparently back in the 90s, there was an anime that was essentially Naruto with dogs.
I know exactly what he's talking about, and I can say the name.
Called Ginga Densetsu Uito. And it was interesting because I had done a couple of small voices, but eventually they messaged me and they're like, hey, can you do a voice that is kind of intimidating, but you would want to punch this person in the face? And I went, oh, can I? And I ended up voicing Kamakiri in a fan dub for this anime. And everyone loved it because the voice, and Keirdan remembers when I lost my voice and I wasn't able to do it, and I still can't do it perfectly. But just being able to be like, oh, fuck you, I'm going to kill you all. was so beautifully perfect to me, and being able to have that out there and have people watching it, it was just amazing. And then they had me do a scene where I got my balls ripped off, so that was cool. I think in the beginning that is one of my favorites, purely off of because of the fact that that was my first role that was put out there and noticed and actually kind of went somewhere, even if it didn't get me any further roles. And I think if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had as much confidence to do the Beast of Burden thing and the Secret Labs thing. And on top of that, when Taylor found out that I did a voice for a fan dub of that, he lost his shit.
I lost my shit because it was one of the first animes I watched, you know, back then when copywriting wasn't a thing on YouTube.
Watch it with Spanish subtitles.
Yeah,
and
watched it
mirrored
with
video.
Spanish, Italian subtitles, just in 3 parts. Each episode was in 3 parts, just spread across YouTube. And I was shocked because I was like, I don't think anyone knows about this fucking anime. And then he was like, I did a fan dub for it. I was like, oh my god, okay.
Well, hey, to you two and to all of our listeners, I wanted to thank you all for showing up for this community update that kind of turned into a little bit of a podcast. It's an unfortunate circumstance with Keirdan and I that we go to do something for 5 minutes and it ends up taking an hour. I wanted to thank you all for watching this video. It was a bit of a long one, but we're glad that you stuck it through. If you're interested in more updates from Studio Dread and more videos like this where all 3 of us or just 1 or 2 of us end up getting together and talking over things, give a follow or a subscribe to the YouTube channel of Studio Dread LLC. That is where we're going to be posting most of these. Keirdan goes through on a regular basis and streams what he's working on at the moment, so if you want to get a nice little sneak peek at that, that is also where you can find it. We have a Patreon if you wish to support us. It is patreon.com/Studio Dread LLC. If you want to support us, you can do so for as low as $3 a month. You can also give a follow so that you can see any of the free posts that we upload and make sure that it's something that you do want to follow before you actually go through with it. We also have a Ko-fi over at ko-fi.com/Studio Dread. No, I have never learned how to say that. If someone could correct me, let me know. It might be Ko-fi. I don't know. We also have a Discord chat. I'll be putting a link to that in the description so that you can join at any time. At the current moment, it needs more people. So we would really appreciate it if you came in, talk to us. You can ask any question of the developers, and we will get back to you as quick as possible. I think, honestly, that's about it for updates, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.